In the Pacific, it's a war of islands. The Japanese control most of the natural ones, the coral atolls and volcanic remnants that they have been collecting for the last 5 years. The Allies control almost nothing. The islands the Allies fight from are artificial. They have been called cities at sea, but in this war, aircraft carriers are more akin to islands than metropolises. It may seem at first absurd to compare actual points of land to ships, but in this case, the similarities are striking. The strategic value of the Japanese-held islands is not mineral. On the vast majority, there is no oil, coal, or smeltable ore. There is merely enough room for an airstrip, a place from which aircraft might fan out to patrol sea lanes crucial to the war effort. To do that, these islands have become home to close communities dedicated to a single end, the delivery of aircraft. So it is with the American aircraft carriers. Like the islands, they're small, just large enough for a single airstrip. And like the islands, for them to do their job, they are dependent on a small community that can minister not just to the needs of aircraft, but to the people who support them. Life aboard an American carrier is shaped not so much by war as it is by all the same social forces that have shaped America. With more than 3,000 crewmen aboard, the ship has a class structure, an economy, and mass media to disseminate information. The people who make the island's existence possible labor anonymously far below deck. Everything a carrier does is dependent on power, and all of that power comes from the boiler room. The boiler room is a hot, greasy place, the factory floor of the carrier. But its existence makes life on the rest of the ship possible. The crew lives a few decks above the boilers. Theirs is a compact but not uncomfortable existence, not unlike that of the Japanese island dwellers they've come to fight. There are hot meals to be had, with fresh vegetables and bread just out of the oven. There are barber shops, drugstores, and wardrooms for recreation. The crewmen can take in a movie or find a little quiet time for reading or writing letters home. One's social class on a carrier is determined by one's proximity to aircraft. The crewmen who work with the planes are higher up the ladder than those who don't. The plane captains, responsible for the care of specific aircraft, are the highest of the non-flyers. But it is the pilots who are the princes of the aircraft carrier. It is their lives that are, to the men below, almost blessed. In quiet times, it seems almost unfair. The white tablecloths and attentive stewards recall a pleasure cruise more than they do life in wartime. But quiet times on a carrier do not last. And when battle approaches, the dining rooms give way to briefing rooms, and the pilots must go out and fight. During battle, the entire character of the community changes. The cook becomes an anti-aircraft gunner. The barber becomes a bomb loader. The peaceable kingdom becomes what it was intended to be: closed, protected, deadly. And the pilots cease to be shipboard gourmands and become what they have always been: warriors. Everyone on the carrier cooperates to throw the planes forward into battle. On the tight confines of the flight deck, no mistakes can be tolerated. The planes are heavy with fuel and ordnance. One tiny misdirection could mean the death of the entire community. It is amazing, somehow, that the planes ever get into the air. But they do. With the aircraft gone, the carrier takes on a curious hollowness. The community remaining is left to wait, hoping for some report of the action, some word of friends and familiar faces doing battle far out to sea. Word comes. The enemy has been engaged. Fighting is heavy. Targets are hit. But the information that everyone is waiting for, the information on losses, comes only when the planes begin to return. Sometimes they come back flushed with victory. others limp back, damaged though not defeated. Some, inevitably, are lost. The wounded are hurried below decks to waiting hospital beds to the best medical care the island has to offer. As the artificial island moves on through another period of quiet to the next battle, repairs are made to both men and machines. The white tablecloths come out again, and the decks cease to be scenes of carnage. So it will be on America's Pacific Islands, because if there is one profound difference between the artificial islands and the natural ones, it is this. When the action passes a natural island by, that island is at peace. When the action passes an aircraft carrier, word goes down to the boiler room to bring up the steam, for the island is moving on to the next battle.